Yes, ma'am.
Annual meeting of our boys book club, and as you were walking up, some of you felt like we needed to have a name for it. So,
On the way, I thought it could be like
what is it?
I read Einstein. Like I could switch the letters a little bit, but it could
his-
be like I read Einstein.
I read Einstein. All right, Francisco, what are you thinking? Did you have an idea? All right, Pat. Boys book club.
Wait, no, I think all the interesting books we read, we should say the interesting book club.
The interesting book club. Okay. Any other ideas?
Boys rule books.
Boys rule books.
Yeah, that was mine.
We've got 3 ideas. We've got I read Einstein. Go ahead.
Daniel, a little down.
Diedrich reads.
Diedrich reads. Okay.
Wait. I just made up a new Miss Diedrich's book club.
It's not just me. I wanted to
Miss Diedrich's class.
Why?
Wait.
Miss Readers.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that sounds good.
That sounds good.
I really think that sounds good.
You like that?
Yeah.
Miss
Miss Diedrich's readers
All right.
for boys.
For boys?
Yeah.
How about Miss Diedrich's boys?
Read club readers. Yeah.
Yeah.
What does everybody think? How do you feel about it?
I think it's good.
All right. I'm gonna move the camera so that it's a little bit better at seeing everybody.
I think it's good.
I think Ollie can't really be seen.
Yeah, I can't get seen because
What if we put it
his head in
here?
the way.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Octavius, if you like move a little bit, it would be perfect.
I think that's good.
Alright, so
All right.
I think.
So what is our name then?
You can't see Joseph.
Oh snap!
Miss Dietrich.
It'll move. Watch.
Miss Dietrich's Readers for
It'll
boys.
move.
But Dante's head is in the way. But
Say?
his head's in the way. There you go.
It's not going to have us all in it every time, but that's fine. Okay, so the first book that I chose for you is a book that
Looks really good.
it is a really amazing book. My son Max read it in a day and a half. He loved it so much. So I'm just going to read the back cover to give you a sense of what this story is about. This story is my friend Rufus Mayflower and how he got to be a millionaire, with a little help from me, with a lot of help from me as a matter of fact. On toothpaste, betting he can make a gallon of his own for the same price as one tube from the store. Rufus develops a step-by-step production plan. He makes $1 million. How does it sound? Anybody want to discuss what they think about that?
I think it sounds cool because one of them sells things, and if you look at the cover, you can see that somebody's in business, and the other person looks like an engineer, and somebody's taking notes, like from how much money they get, and then
Display it to the camera.
Facts.
it looks like that they have in a work job that they all have to do something to see how much money they got, and they have to work really hard to make that money.
Okay, so go ahead.
Or, Octavius, if you move a little bit. Thanks. Alright, anyway. So, I think
Well, you don't need to do that. Just talk.
that it's about these kids who find out that they can make toothpaste that is better for the consumers because it costs the same as a tube, but it's a gallon of toothpaste.
Okay.
So you see, it takes a long time to run out, but it costs the same. So the consumers would want it.
I have a question for Luke.
Go ahead.
Luke, have you ever read this book before? how it seems like you know a lot about it because how you explain it sounds like you read the book before.
So why do you think that is, Luke?
You can just tell a lot from the cover and the back, and you can just see that it's all about that.
Ah, so the cover, you use the cover to make that prediction and the back of what I read? Okay, Jackson?
I think it looks like a good book because of mostly I don't think 1/8 and 1/6 grader could make toothpaste, but I think this book shows that they can.
Because it doesn't seem like kids can become millionaires from making things.
Pretty much, yeah.
How many of you have ever watched Shark?
No, I haven't.
Have there been kids on Shark Tank?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think
They're making money like, I'll make a deal with you, I'll make a deal with you.
Okay.
And after we
So-
finish, I have a book.
Okay.
What's
I have some other ideas
I never heard of it.
other books, but so today, just to get us going,
I can explain what Shark Tank is
All right,
because
go
you
ahead.
don't know. Shark Tank is when there's these people that makes like these fish bowls things like where they swim in, like yeah,
Or a tank.
yeah, like a, and then
Shark Tank is, and sometime I guess in book club I'll share it with you. Do you know what it is, Joseph?
I watched Shark Tank before. It's pretty cool. It's about these people lining up and they like take notes of what they see. And then there's these people that come in with stuff that they want, like if they're poor on business or if they want to make more of the business, they have to show it to them and give them samples so they
Yeah.
can see it, and
So-
then they can and then the people can decide if they want to join their company or not.
Exactly. So you've got a line of like 5 billionaires, people with lots and lots of money who are deciding, businessmen, whether or not they want to invest in someone else's business. So it's a really good show. I like to watch it with my boys. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to read us the first chapter just to get us into the story. But I want you to understand that when you join a book club is a commitment. Now, what do you think I mean when I say a commitment? Dontavius, what do you think that means? Here, give him the mic. Let him finish chewing first. All right.
I think I know.
Well, let him. We haven't heard from him yet.
It's for D.
All right. So, what do you think a commitment means? Yeah, I think it is this.
Can I say something?
Yours is right here. Could you give him a new spoon? All right, go ahead, Dontavius.
I think it means that
Put that up to your mouth.
I think it means that you have to be committed to the book, like don't skip through it.
What'd you say? Don't skip.
Through it.
All right, don't skip through it. All right, somebody want to add to that?
I just want to add something.
All right, hold on.
I think it means that it's not a joke. It's a privilege to earn to be in a book club and don't pages don't actually understand the book.
Yeah. What do you do in a book club? Does anybody know?
You ask questions and sometimes you read the book.
All right, you
over.
could be asking questions. What else do you do in a book club?
I have an idea. See how different people interpret the book.
So you're talking about the book?
I think
Okay.
terrible too and all that
So
stuff.
it encourages reading. Jackson, did you want to add to it?
Yeah, I want to add something about the chapters in this book.
All right, hold on to that. Hold on, because right now, about what is a commitment? And what does a book club mean? What do we do?
What is a
So
book club?
Joseph, pass it to Daniel. He has something to add to it.
Yeah, good thing, I can tell.
I agree with Ollie and Joseph because what Joseph said, like when you if you read it, you take a test, you're gonna earn more points and help us get the class.
The root beer.
Yeah.
Okay, the root beer float. So one thing, the major thing about a book club is that we all are reading a book together. We're reading independently, but then we come together and we talk about the book.
And we form a good a group and a big answer so we can pass the tests.
Well, not so much about this book club is not about passing tests. This book club is about enjoying a book together and talking about it. Now, ultimately at the end, do we all want to pass the reading counts test? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. But when you talk about books, you're that's going to make your comprehension better because you're talking about it with other people, right? Okay. You got a clip bar too? All right, so I'm going to get started with the first chapter because we just have about 6 minutes before we have to go for our first club meeting, and then we'll discuss how much we think each person should read for when we meet next. All right, chapter 1, My Friend Rufus. This is the story of my friend Rufus Mayflower and how he got to be a millionaire, with a little help from me, with a lot of help from me, as a matter of fact, but the idea was Rufus's. Yeah, where are your books, boys? Grab them. Good thinking, Joseph.
What page is it?
I'm on the first, chapter 1.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to keep reading while you get with me. I know you're eating, so just be careful not to get stuff on your books. Rufus's idea wasn't to become a millionaire, just to make toothpaste. He was $1 in the bank. I don't suppose you know too many 8th graders who are millionaires, and you wouldn't know Rufus was one to look at him. He still wears the same old blue sweater. First, I'll tell you, and this.
Oh, wait.
Wait, go ahead.
Alright, so the first thing I saw was the cover, and there's a white girl, and I'm thinking the girl is telling the story.
Ah, so what point then is this story being
Told from a third person.
Third person is the narrator.
Is be
Is
first
that what
person.
you were thinking, Dontavius?
It's true.
1960s because of when she talked about it's weird that I'm his friend because he's black and I'm white.
So why do you think that makes this story set in the 60s?
Because when in the 60s, well, mostly 50s because in the 60s they kind of stopped segregation after a while, but it's definitely 50s because you can see that she says, hey, it's weird that I'm his friend.
Okay.
Because
You don't need to move it.
Yeah.
Did someone else want to add to that? Hold on. Go ahead, Joseph. Let's let everybody have a turn to talk. You don't need to move the robot around. Just go ahead and talk.
I agree with I agree with Luke that it's in the 50s because when it says this might be surprising to people, I think this was made when there was segregation.
Okay.
Because white people weren't allowed to be with black people because I don't really know why.
Okay.
Actually.
Go ahead, Ollie. Add to it.
I think that this brings back to a book we read, My Brother Martin, and that you remember when the two white kids and Martin's brother and him, they were playing, and then he had the white people had to stop playing with them because Martin and his brothers were black, in other words, Negroes.
Okay.
So I think it actually does bring back of segregation, like Luke said.
Okay, Jackson, did you want to add to that?
Yes. I was going to say, I agree that it was in segregation, but I'm also thinking that it was after segregation because after, like, a few people were like, I don't think this is a good idea.
Okay. Well, let's keep reading and see. I like the way you're thinking about the story. 2 years ago, Mom was telling Daniel.
The girl.
So you think the girl is the narrator? Okay. 2 years ago, the company my father works for moved from Connecticut to Cleveland, Ohio. In Connecticut, we lived in the suburbs. Is that where you're from? Yeah. Cool.
I came from Connecticut.
All right. You might not believe it, but up to the time we moved to Cleveland, I had never met a black person. There weren't any black families where we lived in Connecticut. But in East Cleveland, where we live now, there are quite a few. East Cleveland is an old neighborhood with big houses and lawns and trees that look 100 years old. My father says you can't buy a new house built as well as these big old houses. Our house in Cleveland has a lot more rooms than our house in Connecticut. There's a room called a conservatory, which is just for plants, and there's a huge laundry room and workshop, which comes in handy when Rufus decided to make toothpaste. Can you go and meet the class and we'll meet you there? I didn't meet Rufus until several weeks after school started. Sometimes it's hard making friends in a new neighborhood, and the kids on my block weren't too friendly at first. It was okay at school, but after school and on weekends, it was lonely. All right, I'm going to stop right there because we kind of have run out of time. So what do you want to commit to read by Monday? So we're going to meet on Monday. So what could you commit to read this weekend to be ready to talk on Monday?
To read.
We've got...
The toothpaste.
Do you want to read through chapter 3? That would only be 17 pages.
I'm going to read all of it.
Well, that's your choice, but you can't discuss beyond where the group is.
I think we should read.
What do you want to try for?
Because it looks like a short book.
Chapter 3 is Dietrich's.
This looks like a book I can finish in like a
Probably.
That's only 13 pages.
It'd be to page... All right, so read through chapter 3, which is to page 17. If you want to read beyond that, that's fine, but you can't discuss beyond where your classmates, the rest of your group members are. All right. Nice job. Could you stop it from recording?
It's cool.